What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy Chad here with my boy Joe. It's been a little while, so we're hoping to just dive back into it. So without further ado, let's nerd out. Unfortunately, not a lot going on in nerd news lately. Things have been kind of mum. Fun fact, I have seen Cybertrucks here where I live, and my feelings are mixed on them. Like, it's interesting to see on the road that a concept as radical as a Cybertruck is alive and on the road and people are driving it. But it's also, I hate saying the word kind of loose cannon, but it's just like, I feel like you're using these people as guinea pigs. It's like, is this going to work? Like, a lot of the tech in it is kind of untested outside of like the normal Tesla software and their driving mechanics. Like, the truck is very angular. Like, it has the fly-by steering. Like, it's I don't know, man. Like, from what I've heard, the truck doesn't even come with autopilot, like the full self-driving. It just has like their auto steer, I think. So it just has like the lane following and can do the type of cruise control. I can't remember what it's called, but the type of cruise control where you can speed up, slow down, and it follows traffic and whatnot. But have you seen one yet? Like, what are your thoughts on seeing it in the wild now?
Like, I feel like it's been just kind of like fake news for a while, and you never know what's going to come out. And
Vaporware.
I was driving. I was on like a on-site thing at work, so I was in another town, not too far away from where our office is, and I was getting some lunch, and I drive past, and I don't know if it's just because like it was shock, but I saw, I'm like, there's no way. Is that really? And it drove past, and I was like, at first I'm like, that's cool as shit. I don't know if it was because I wasn't expecting it. It was just kind of like, you know, like when you see something, if you see a Pagani, you're going to be like, oh, you know, it's like a unicorn, you know, it's kind of has that effect. I'm like, oh, it's real. So I don't know if it was just me being like shocked, but like at first impression, I was like, that looks cool, kind of cool. Not something I would buy, but it definitely stood out in the street. So it got my attention because it was oncoming. So I was passing it. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. So first glance, I liked it, but I know it'd be different if I like got into all those little details, you know. But yeah, I think it was just shock, but different than what it is on the screen.
It was. I'm kind of like you, where it was cool to see one in person. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the truck. I'm not big on angular vehicles. Like, I love curves in my cars. I know that kind of sounded sexy, but you know, that's just how it is. But you know, I'm kind of like you, where it's like, wow, it's real. And I did not expect to see one here because we're so kind of far out of the way. Like, you expected to see them more on the West Coast and working their way across the country, and to see one here. And for me, and I hope I don't offend anybody saying this, but like, what cracked me up the most is when I saw the driver. I was expecting like some tech bro or some older guy who probably has like retirement money that he's just like didn't know what to do, or like some young entrepreneur, or like even a dev. It was like a kind of older middle-aged woman. Like, she looked like somebody's like grandma, and she was just chilling at the stoplight. And again, I like the refreshness of that. It wasn't your typical person who adopts a radical vehicle. Like, it was just somebody you least expected to be in a Cybertruck. And I just thought that was cool. But other than that, like, I don't care for the truck, unfortunately. Like, it's not my style. More power to anybody that owns one. You know, it's props to Tesla for actually getting the truck out. But I still would never buy one, even if they get it down to like, I think it's like what, the $40,000 or $50,000 one that they're trying to make. That I have no desire to own that truck because it's not appealing to me. Like, I'd rather get the Rivian. I think the Rivian is way sexier. I think the Rivian is more trucky, in my opinion. Like, it's more practical for the design and whatnot. But again, like, you know, we'll see as time goes on. When we see Tesla Cybertruck users actually use their trucks for truck things, we'll see how well it holds up. And, you know, I could be eating crow and be like, well, this turned out to be a really great truck, you know. But if I'm being honest, I don't believe that.
I have a question for you then. So it's like could be a two-parter. So the Rivian, do all of them come with like the camping kit? And if not, would you want the one with the camping kit that comes out of like the middle?
I don't believe they all come with the camping kit. I think it's an add-on. The few times that I've tested in the builder, like it hasn't been something that's standard.
Okay.
I wouldn't want the camping kit per se because like I'm not a big camper. Like I'm probably of the folk that would do glamping over true camping, just because like I'm not super outdoorsy like that. Like I do enjoy being outdoors, but I'm not like a woodsman, or I don't like living amongst the nature. Like I like to look at nature and then I'm like, damn, nature, you scary, and then I'm out. Like, you know, I'm good. So I wouldn't personally buy it, but I do think it's cool that some of these trucks, like some of these newer cars, are coming out with things like that.
Sorry. It reminds me of like if like it was sustainable electric cars, like the zombie era, like, you know, you can just get your meal on the go. You don't have to like find a place to cook.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, just get some solar panels. But I don't know. Yeah, I was just curious because I thought that was a really cool feature. I'm like, that's pretty dope, but I didn't know if it was standard or not. So
The Cybertruck does have a tent feature as well, but people were sharing what it looked like from Tesla's drawn up doctored images of like what it could be versus what they got in real life, and it was super disappointing. So a lot of Tesla people were owners were a little upset when they got it, and like, what the hell is this? This is not what was advertised. But you know, I thought that was wild. Something else I wanted to touch on real quick. I just read this in the news a couple of days ago. So as you know, we had that unfortunate accident in Baltimore where the cargo ship hit that bridge and the bridge collapsed. Unfortunately, we lost 6 people. Rest in peace to those people. You know, condolences to their families, of course. But the thing that I was reading this article was the shipping company who owns and operates that ship is trying to push off as much as the financial responsibilities for getting their ship out of that what was it, a port, getting their ship out of that port area, and for rebuilding the bridge. And they're going to the people that hired them to ship their cargo to see if they will help them recoup some of their loss. What do you think about that? Like, do you think that's fair that they should have to ask the shippers for money for an accident that their ship caused?
that just reminds me personally, it's totally unrelated, but how like here in Kansas City, they want the taxpayers to buy the stadium.
Oh, I read that. Like, that's crazy.
That makes, like, we voted no, but I'm like,
yeah,
it's kind of the same point. It's like, it's your money, it's your thing, but I don't know, that's triggered that, but I don't, it's gonna be a hard one for me to answer because I feel like there's all kinds of conspiracy theories with the boat thing. So have you seen the sped up video?
No.
It looks like it was done on purpose.
Really?
Yeah, if you do it, you could see like it actually makes a correction. It looks like it's done on purpose. And then like, so I saw a lot of stuff out there. But so with that being said, that's a whole other bag of worms, but just throwing that out there. That's what insurance is for. So like my wife does a lot of stuff with the transportation, financials, and like, yeah, so it's like you have a certain amount of responsibility, but then that's what insurance and then other things are for. So what's the amount of loss? Did you say how much the loss was?
I did not, but they said the initial dollar value so far is a minimum of 400 million upwards to $2 billion is what could be financially on the hook. And there is speculation that the U.S. government is going to eat some of that cost. They're going to help pay for the bridge replacement because I think they're going to build it, tie it into their infrastructure bill that they have, where they're trying to kind of redo America's infrastructure across the country. Gotcha. But you know, the sentiment in the article was, is it fair for the company to ask the people who are just using them as a cargo vessel that they need to pay for part of the bill when they don't operate the ship per se? You know, they're just putting items on the ship.
As a business person, I would think, yeah, I would not want to, if that was my cargo, to take a hit on that. You know, I'd want that recouped. You know, you're trusting that So, I mean, it's not your fault, you know. But it takes me back to like we had the Panama Canal a couple years ago that had a huge loss.
They had a blockage there. I can't remember what happened exactly, but I knew that they couldn't get ships through, and it kind of jacked up the economy a bit. I think they had a ship run aground or something.
This was wondering. I was wondering if there's, and then there's that one where they brought all the cars over and that drowned. And so there was like,
that one caught on fire. I think
So yeah, I'd have to investigate like what happened in those and then like the contracts, but it's definitely food for thought. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, they said that in the article that the company is using some really old maritime law to try to get shippers to have to foot part of the bill. I just don't know what traction is going to gain and how much pushback they're going to get. And obviously right now, like everybody's scrambling because they're trying to get the boat out of the port so they can get other shipments in, because obviously this is starting to affect suppliers. But you know, it's just a crazy situation. And for me, it's just like, as the company that runs the ship, and this is just my personal opinion, like it should be on you to have to salvage your ship. And you did hit a bridge and take down a bridge. Like you need to at least pay for the majority of it. Like, and that's my opinion. Like I don't think it's fair to ask the shippers to help foot the bill when they're just using your vessel. Like you provided a service and they paid you for that service. Like that's where their buck should stop, because they paid you to carry their cargo. But again, like I said, there's so many what ifs and tangibles that we may never know who's really going to pay what. But I just thought it was an interesting article to hear that, you know, the company's kind of trying to do that.
Yeah, they have that sticker shock and they're like, I can't cover this.
Right. Yeah.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
I do want to flip back to the point you made in the beginning when we talk about this, about what happened in Kansas City with the Chiefs and the Royals.
Sure.
This is my honest belief with the voters saying no to the proposed tax, because the tax is already there. You're already paying the tax. They were just going to be extending it. It wasn't a change in monetary value. It was an extension. I think what made the voters say no, and this is just me, is that when you heard about the proposal of the new facility, so in the Chiefs case, they're remodeling Arrowhead to be bigger and better and nicer and more modern. And then, you know, the Royals, they want to move completely. They want to move more to a downtown area of Kansas City, to like an actual neighborhood. When I was reading the article, the thing that stood out the most to me was that the Kansas City Royals owner was willing to put up, I think it was half, if not more, than it proposed. So his new stadium was going to be like a $2 billion stadium. He was willing to forfeit $1 billion of his own money to put up. And I think that's an easier pill to swallow for voters. Like, yo, he's willing to put up 50%. I'm good with kicking in a little bit more tax to help him out. When it came to the Chiefs, their renovation was going to be $800 million. The Hunt family was only going to put up $300 million and expected the taxpayers to pay the other $500 million. And I think that's where that vote tanked, in my opinion. Like, I think the voters are more like, all or nothing. We want you all to, you know, you're the billionaires, not us. Mm-hmm. So you should put up more of the capital than we do. It's not fair that you're asking us to put up this much more capital. Like, I'm not saying this doesn't happen to other, and obviously Kansas Cityans were used to this because they're already paying the tax for the two franchises. But I think that's where they lost voters, is that the Chiefs were only willing to pay so much, and that just soured the voters on the deal completely. Again, that's just my opinion. I don't live there. Obviously, you know, you live close to that area, so you know better than I do of what the voters feel was. But that's just from an outsider looking in and seeing what the tangibles look like, and kind of looking at it from an objective point of view.
No, I'm glad you brought that, because I didn't realize that with the Royals. I've kind of heard the flip of that, is that because they combine Royals and the Chiefs, that people, taxpayers or fans, were more happy to work on Arrowhead and like get a dome or whatever they are, so they can host Super Bowls. And the fact that they had the Royals on the same ticket, they weren't cool with that. Because I know a lot of people that aren't excited because downtown sucks. Kansas City downtown is to get to like team. It's right real close to the T-Mobile Center, and it's already hard to park. It's already so to put the Royal Stadium like right across the highway from that is just. I think that could have been an issue too with that because like it's like. Well, how about you just put them on separate tickets and see what people want? So kind of like the classic government bill where you're going to just put multiple things in one. Hopefully, more people are happy about one side and forget about the little things you add. So not that was a little thing, but yeah.
I also think with the Royals, where they were wanting to put the stadium, like you brought up, where they wanted to put it, they were going to be wiping out some businesses there for where they wanted to go. And I also think that probably fed into the factor of like, just because you're a franchise doesn't mean you get to strong arm your way into our neighborhood and take out businesses that have been here for, X amount of years. So I just think, like you said, kind of trying to build them together was probably a wrong thing. I think it was bad optics for the Chiefs with how much money they were willing to pull up versus what Kansas City Royals owners were willing to put up. Like, it was just bad optics all around. Obviously, the Chiefs, they are going back to the drawing board. There's, we don't know. There might be next time the vote is up, they might try it again and they might do different this time. Or, heaven forbid, the Chiefs and the Royals both decide, well, Kansas City won't be our home anymore. I think that would be drastic to take because of like how supportive Kansas Cityans have been of the Chiefs and the Royals. Obviously more the Chiefs. I've met more diehard Chiefs fan than I have Royals fan. Like, I feel like when it comes to baseball, where we live, you're kind of one or the other, either St. Louis or you're Kansas City. And most people tend to lean more towards St. Louis because they're a more storied franchise and more successful. Yeah. But when it comes to the Chiefs, like I've met fans, like they'll tell you through the dark times of them just losing epically that, we stuck with them. They stuck by, like, that's my man and I'm going to stick by him. So, I feel that maybe button the two together made those people be like, well, no, I don't like the Royals. So like you said, why would I vote on this? So I personally think the Chiefs would be idiots if they left Kansas City because they have a great market and they're on a tear right now. Like they're a dynasty right now. You don't want to mess up the flow of the dynasty right now. Like having this vote in the middle of when you're trying to go like for the first time a three-peat in Super Bowls, like, I don't know, man. It just seemed like bad optics and bad timing for this vote. I understand it needed to be done. But I don't know. I just feel like the Chiefs should have did more to appease their fans and be like, hey, we want to stay here. Like we want to be here in Kansas City. And you got to do better. That's just me. You got to do better.
Yeah.
Sorry for the sports talk, kids. Sports is your boy Chad's lane and he gets down with his sports. So let's pivot real quick. I just want to touch on, as we know, Taylor Swift released a new album over the weekend.
Oh.
What was it called? The Tortured Poets Department. I have not heard any tracks from it. But some of the reviews I've heard, people were like, it's a different sound for Taylor. I'm kind of surprised by that. Like it's not, she's probably going to have some upbeat, catchy tracks, but they said there's some dark moments on the album. And what do you think? Like we knew she announced it back in February, but what do you think of her like releasing like a brand new album? Like what I think Midnights was her last album, and that's barely a year old, and she's already dropped a brand new project.
I skimmed a few. I was curious about the one with her and Post Malone, and I didn't finish it. It didn't take me anywhere. I heard the hype about her "Thank You, Amy" song. Before I heard anything else, before I knew she had an album dropped, I just saw these people making all these references, like, and tearing it apart. I'm like, okay, so this weekend I listened to it. It's probably one of the most upbeat, happy diss tracks I've ever heard. And I mean, ever maybe. I'm just like, you really have to like listen to the lyrics, and you're like, and they don't even go that dark. It's like almost like it teeters on, oh, you're kind of a bitch, but thank you. I'm going to be better for it. And there's like a line in there about my mom's like a saint, but she wished you dead. It's like this upbeat song, like almost like this country, like pop country. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is the weirdest diss track ever. So I just like, I didn't even really care for the song. It was kind of boring, but so far I haven't really dived into it. I'm not like a terrible Swiftie. I do like the hits of that one album, 1989 or whatever.
I love 1989. That's one of her
So
best
like that's
projects.
some really cool tracks. It's kind of like I like that one era of Lady Gaga, and that's it. You know, I don't keep up with it. That time in their life is what got me. Those songs were very catchy and whatnot. But that's all I've really experimented was just that I had to go and check out the Kim diss track.
Right.
So that's all I have on that.
Cool.
So
speaking of diss tracks, so you know me, I'm a huge hip hop head, huge rap fan. And right now we have a huge beef going on in the hip hop world with Drake versus pretty much everybody. So try to make the backstory as brief as possible. Kendrick Lamar, to me, one of the best rappers out right now. Long time ago, when he first came on the scene, he came out with a song or with a track called Control, where he basically went at the industry and it was like, yo, look, I want the top spot. So if anybody wants to step to me, step to me. So if you ever get a chance, check out that track. He names people and he tells you, like, I'm not being disrespectful. I just feel I'm the best and I'm coming to take that crown. Fast forward up to now, through the years, Kendrick and Drake have all taken subliminal disses at each other through their tracks. Like if you're listening to the songs and you just know the history, you can catch certain references and whatnot. Like, that was aimed at Kendrick. That was aimed at Drake. So little subliminal shots. Drake is the king of subliminals. Like, let's just get that out of the way. So Drake drops an album called For All the Dogs. On that album is a track called First Person Shooter. That's him and J. Cole. J. Cole kind of states that there's a big three. And the big three, if you go off of the lore, is Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. But Cole kind of says that he's the Ali of the big three, meaning that he's the best. So fast forward like a few months later, Metro Boomin and Future, the rapper, have a project coming off calling I think it's called I Don't Like You or I Don't Trust You. And on that album is a track called Like That. And Kendrick Lamar, bruh, it's a great track in my opinion. Like not just for the disses, but just for the beat, the flows. Like, but in one of the most standout lines in the track was Kendrick says, "Fuck the big three, it's just big me." And that was kind of like a shot directly at Drake and J. Cole. Like, yo, y'all aren't on my level. So that track comes out. It gains traction. Like hip hop world is like, oh, like K-Dot came out, shot. So then J. Cole releases a track called 8-Minute Drill or 7-Minute Drill. Sorry. And 7-Minute Drill is like is a tie to like where if you know J. Cole, like some of his rappers, they'll go into the studio and he'll make them. Well, he won't make them, but they'll do like 7-minute freestyles and they call it 7-minute drills. And it's just 7 minutes of them just flowing over a beat, just rapping off the dome. Mm-hmm. And in his 7-minute drill, he goes after Kendrick basically, but he does it in a way that's not J. Cole per se. So anyway, J. Cole has Dreamfest, which is like a huge festival for from his label. He owns the label Dreamville. And he gets on stage. He apologized for what he said to Kendrick. He praises Kendrick, says that he's number one, all this stuff. A lot of fans like kind of go at him for calling him soft and stuff. I thought it was a really cool move. Like he was like, I didn't like what I was saying. So, I wanted to apologize because I said some shit that I know wasn't real. Fast forward again, Drake drops his diss track. What is it called? Push-ups? Something push-ups. And I mean, Drake is a good diss writer, like a good diss rapper, but it's like he doesn't do it often. But when he does, he kind of goes hard. Now his last battle he had with Pusha T bodied the shit out of him. Like he embarrassed Drake. Drake couldn't even respond. Like it was crazy what Pusha did. But the beef before that, what he had with Meek Mill, he destroyed Meek Mill. He came with Charged Up and then back to back. Like it was a massacre. He's kind of doing this right now with Kendrick. He drops this diss track, then he drops another diss track over the weekend. So, like right now, everybody's like, K-Dot, where are you at? Like this man has came at you twice now. He shot at you twice. And this is what you asked for. You're being silent. Like, I know you don't follow rap beef like I do, but I know you're in the music industry. Like, I think this is just good for hip hop. Like, and it's not warfare. They're not coming at each other like trying to say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and that. Like, it's just like, "Yo, we're going at it lyrically. We're doing it with our mouths, our beats." Like, I don't know, man. I'm hoping K Dot wins because Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite rappers. But right now, man, Drake came out throwing haymakers, man. Like, this is crazy. It's good times for music, though.
I might have to check it out. I enjoy like the beefs and stuff. If they're good. I personally, I don't like Drake. I don't think his music's good. I don't know if it's something with me. I don't find him talented. To me, it's like the Billie Eilish of rap.
Ouch. Damn.
Might be a little harsh, but so yeah, I definitely enjoy. We might have to drop some links in there and the comments so everybody can go and get some opinions. But yeah, I do enjoy a good old fashioned beef. Yeah, but like you, I'm glad it's not like we're gonna meet in the middle and then kill each other.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, right on.
Nah, it's good. It's good. Like I said, I know you're not huge into rap music, but I think you would enjoy the beef. Like they're just lyrically going at it, man. It's good times. Lastly, before we wrap up tonight, as you all know, Fallout, the TV show, is dropped on Amazon. I am not really huge into the Fallout video games. I've played Fallout 3. That's the only one I've really played through. And I played a little bit of New Vegas. But Joe, I know you are a huge fan of Fallout, so I would love to hear your thoughts on the TV show so far, because I'm assuming you've watched some of the episodes, if not all of them.
I haven't finished them all. I have like 2 left. I kind of wanted to savor it. You know, people went out and just smashed them. And like a guy I worked with over the first weekend was out. Like, I watched it twice through. I'm like, you have nothing else to do?
Right.
What the hell? So let's start with the positives. It's all positive. So I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan. I think I liked what Jonathan Nolan and his wife Lisa Joy did with Westworld. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan of that, and just some of Jonathan's writing with his brother's stuff and his own stuff over the years. I'm a huge Jonathan Nolan fan, so I knew Fallout would be good. Like, he's not going to fuck it up. There's something about the Nolan brothers that just they care about the product. You know, it's to them, it's art. It's coming out with something great. So I had high expectations, and they definitely have delivered. It looks good. Not nostalgia, but just the Easter eggs. They hit everything. You know, just little things on a shelf. You know, the little Vault Boy. You know, nice. Or just a mini nuke and a display. You know, stuff like that. They've hit everything. They've got the sugar bombs, the cram, and so they're just hitting all those notes. It definitely makes you want to play again.
Nice.
And it kind of, to me, it's after Fallout 4 in the timeline, but it's kind of central to what you've played Fallout 3. So I'm not giving anything away, but there's obviously Brotherhood, and it's in California. So you have the new California New Republic. And so it's kind of on the Fallout 3-4 timeline a little bit, maybe 20 years off.
Gotcha.
In some direction. So you already feel... So yeah, all the way through, it's really, really good. I think for people who have not played it, they're going to love it. I'm watching it though, and I've played so much friggin' Fallout that, you know, they're going through the storyline, and I'm finding myself looking for like Lego deals on my phone as we're watching with my wife, because it's like I've experienced it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I put that time in. It's so good. It's given me like what I've already, kind of like when you watch The Last of Us. It's like I've played it. You know, I've experienced it. I know what's going to happen. I know that scene. It's in the game. And it's fantastic. It's great. And so yeah, I was really hyped to the first few episodes. The one thing I do like, and I'm not trying to give spoilers away. This is one of the cool things in Fallout. When you are on the adventure, I love going into vaults and then seeing what kind of fucked up experiment that vault had. because that's a big
Right.
part of that. It's like, because they're all social experiments. You're like, what happened here? And that's, I feel like the story so far is kind of going more towards vault area, and you see the world and everything, but it's like, I think they're kind of going with that lore a little bit more, which is exciting to me. So when they're out in the world, it's like, okay, yeah, I've been there, I've seen it. But then they get into some of the vault sections, and I'm like, now I'm intrigued, because that was one of my favorite things in the game. So very good show. It's very well put together. I definitely like it. It got renewed already for season 2. I definitely think anybody will like it if they like good shows. Super violent, very, very violent, but that's how the game is, So expect some very, very violent, grotesque stuff. But they've hit all the notes. So if you're a fan, I don't think I've run into anybody who hasn't liked it, that has enjoyed the Fallout series or played some of the games. So definitely check it out, man.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad that it's living up to your hype. That makes me happy. So I'll check it out when I get a chance. I'm so behind in TV just because I don't watch TV very often. So, it is what it is. But I'm happy that you're happy. I'm happy that you enjoy it. Like, I love to see iterations of a video game come to life on the screen. So, and I love it when they do a good job of it. So that makes me happy. And with that, kids, that is another episode here with your fellow great nerds. Again, not a lot going on in the nerd world. So, we always try our best to give something that we think is interesting to you. So we really hope you enjoyed tonight's conversation. Like I said, please go check out any of the music that we talked about with the Rap Beef or Taylor Swift's new album. Check out Fallout. I think it'd be really cool. And other than that, we hope you enjoy listening, and we can't wait to have another episode for you all. Hopefully we'll have some really good nerd news for you at that time. So otherwise, if we don't, hey, we'll figure something to talk about. We got this. With that, kids, you all have a good evening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.
Bye.